Right, how are we? It is a Monday. This week's going to lead up to a lesson that I've got at the end of the week. But for the time being, today I've got some online lessons. The driver shaft needs to be re-glued into the head that came loose in my tournament last week. And also I've got some drills and practice and own parts of my game that needs work or needs to be drilled out. So I'm going to show you a bit of that as well whilst taking you through the whole day. So let's get into it. Great place if we just looked at arm structure and where the club actually goes. But one thing we're going to talk about is your posture to start with, and then where your weight distribution goes. Right, so that first lesson, he is basically struggling with feeling like his downswing just doesn't feel right. Like he said, the club tracks in a really nice line and his arm structure and everything looked really good on the way up. But he got to the top and then from there sort of like chucked it over the top a bit and then flipped it. So just released the hands a lot. And most of it's coming down to the fact that he can't actually move in the correct way because he's not sort of like loading into this right hip. He's not loaded on his right side so he can then move into his left side. What he was doing firstly was standing quite a long way away from it, really arched back. And from there he was loading into his like front foot, into like the toe. So if you load into that front foot into the toe, the only place you can go, because pretty much the golf swing is just like a chain reaction, like you load into the floor, you come back out. Whereas what you want to do is like load into your right side so you can then load into your left side and come out the floor, so like up, down and out. Whereas he was going like just loading into that front toe. So then from there, even though his arms, the club moves in such a nice way, because he's loaded into that front toe and he's gone forward, he then has to come out of it. And because you come out of it, because you've added height, you have to chuck the club. So that was just a case of posture, like the really easy change in posture, just to make sure his posture is a lot more natural. And then trying to get him to lead into his load into his right hip a bit more, so then he can move correctly in the downswing. Then just gave him a few drills. If you do want online lessons, the link is in the description. There's a couple options on there. You just have to download the Skillist app, but it'll take you through to that. And then you can find me on there. Should go through to my profile once you've downloaded the app. But yeah, just find me on there under my name. Hi, club repair extraordinaire.
Hello,
Ricardo Woodus of Daintiness. You can have a play around with my shaft today.
I'm going to play around with your stiff shaft. I'm going to get it really hot and it will go a little flimsy for a while. But if we look after it, it will be back in tip-top condition within a couple of hours.
Do you know what Joe Ferguson said? He said it's happened a lot recently. People's driver, like the adapters have been coming loose from shafts because people have been leaving their clubs in their cars.
Heating up.
And they're just heating up. So yeah, the ferrule has come loose. The ferrule has gone ferrule. It's good.
What I've got to be careful of is not to make your ferrule go a little bit soft.
Yeah. Oh dear. Wow.
The good thing, it doesn't look like the shaft's broken, that was a potential.
What, it's just like splitting the...
That's why.
It's not looking great, is it?
No, it should be right.
What, is that just a bit of ferrule?
Just a bit of plastic.
Okay.
Just inner plastic.
Right. Epoxy resin?
No, not yet.
What?
Not yet.
What's next, mate?
Well, what's next? I'm going to take the grip off.
Yeah.
Because we've got to get this little bit of glue out from in here. Because if you try and glue it, you put epoxy resin in there, it needs air to go through it, otherwise it won't go anywhere. So basically, you put the club on.
Yeah.
And then you'll just have like a pocket of air will basically just sit here between the head and the shaft. And
okay.
Just come straight off. So we've got to get that little bit of glue out of there.
Grip extraction then.
Off. Some suspect little white liquid on the end there, John. Ahoy there! I have got some other... For the people in the comments, I have got some other golf clubs to re-glue. That's a waste of glue, isn't it?
Ooh, John. So what do you do? Leave that to dry before we do the grip?
Yeah.
Should we go grab a coffee?
Let's go grab a coffee, shall we?
It's your mini driver. Set on.
Well, it's set on about 9.75 now.
See what we can get out of it. Carry over 3.
Well, it's got a 3-wood shaft in it, so that'll be a good biff. That's a bullet.
That's not carrying anywhere. Oh, one spin.
It's got literally no spin at all. That's for the weight of the back as well. What's that like? 1200.
Right, hike up. That's me getting a hike up.
It's long. It's going to run.
It's got to be. Ooh, just shy.
It's got 335. But that Linksy Cornish Festival, that ball flight
That might be a joke.
is hilarious.
Yeah, that's staying in the air more now. Tiny bit off the heel.
So low 2s. I don't know, high 2s. 301, 317.
Yeah.
I prefer the other
Let's
flight.
try it off the deck.
It's only gone 80 yards.
So what are you doing then? Putting the weights forward?
Pushing the weight forwards. I was just saying to James, I need to remember to put this back to the original setting, because I was playing at about 13 degrees with the weight at the back, and we're now playing it at 9.5 degrees with the weight forwards.
Yeah, you might notice that one.
I've flushed that strike-wise. Like I've flushed it.
It's a good flight. I mean, it's got like 1400 spin, but
245, 280.
not bad.
And that's me like trying to like
Bryson, that.
hoist it.
It's got to be 270 carry.
Yeah, 267, 288.
Pretty good.
I get it. I actually get further than that in the other setting, to be fair.
Really? Yeah.
This will be hilarious.
Normally then, yeah.
This will be hill areas. A joke about Dartmoor. What's that? Is that a duck slice? that rare bird. It's a slice that's spun at 1800 rems.
There's a coach in Australia called Gary Barter, who I've always looked at his coaching and I've really liked what he does with all his players. Obviously, Gary Barter's inaccessible because he's just on the Live Tour working with his pros and PGA Tour. But my coach has had quite a lot of sessions with him, so he teaches quite a lot of the same things. And the second drill should be into a towel, but we're not doing it into a towel today. Is literally just step, left arm, club on, and get back to the ball. So it just encourages, firstly, this is what I did with my coaches when I was in South Africa. They were getting me to drill a lot of left arm only swings, because the right arm, if you get into funky positions on the way up, you'll be surprised how quickly just swinging with your left arm gets that club tracking on a really nice line. So that's part of the reason why this works. The second reason, just getting off of it forces you to get back onto it. I've never been very good at getting back onto the golf ball. So you're meant to do this with a towel, but I've just been playing around with doing it. Firstly, just doing it into the mat, which seems to work pretty well. And then secondly, just taking those feels and then sort of doing a step and a step in and swing. And what I'm noticing is it feels like I'm getting the club much more out in front of me, and I'm actually finally getting onto that left side. So that's just really a start. And obviously we're going up to see him Friday, and we're going to go over everything in a lot more detail than this. Cheers for that, Rich.
Yes,
You
right.
legend. Of course, looking beautiful in old dark
She's
speed.
looking shiny. She's looking shiny.
Driver's done, lessons done, practice done, and now off to the gym to actually train arms. So very, very golf specific. Coming up this week, I've got a lesson Friday, obviously, and I'm also seeing Konig. We're gonna go and try and play somewhere. So lots coming up. See you tomorrow.